Yay, we're live.
Yay!
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Gretchen. I'm so excited to chat with you and hear about your super loved experience and share more of your journey and what you've been going through and what you've created. So, everyone, welcome, Gretchen. And let's just start with a little bit about you. And when we first met, you can share about you personally, but also what was going on with you when we first met.
Sure. So, my name is Gretchen. I'm a 50-year-old single mom living in New Jersey, not my preference, and trying to live and date in the New York City metro area. I work full time well, I used to work full time from an office, and my marriage ended about 2 years before the pandemic began. But I really wasn't dating at that point. I was sowing some wild oats, but I was not doing anything even remotely like trying to find my person. I hoped that I would just fall into it, and I didn't. And I knew I still had a lot of healing to do, but I was so obsessed with getting into a relationship that it was really kind of getting in my way. Like, I was just so obsessed with, why haven't I found my person yet? Where is my person? And I started to really feel like I was doing something wrong. So I was easy prey for a lot of Facebook ads about, hey, I'm a dating coach. Come find out how to get a man. The 5 rules of texting guys. The, 3 rules. You must not do this. All those like really clickbaity YouTube
Yeah.
video headlines. Yeah. So, and I started to feel also a lot of scarcity. Like, not only where is my person, but every weekend that passes that I am not spending with my person is wasted. Like, that was a little bit of a
Yeah.
sticking point, and I wasn't really able to loosen up and just focus on myself and enjoy being single, and even enjoy have enough joy in my life that I was able to attract a good relationship or even respect my own boundaries. Like, I was still, even though I had gotten out of this problematic marriage, I was still feeling like I will do anything to be with somebody if I like them enough, and please like me. And that's not good energy. And I knew it, and I didn't know how to shift it. So I started looking at some of those ads on Facebook, and they were not good. They were very depressing, actually, because they all looked kind of the same, like a blonde lady who looked kind of like a Fox News anchor, and like, get the guy. And um, I didn't understand how I could be in a relationship unless I suddenly started liking football and, if I bought a gun maybe and went to shooting ranges and started basically turning into a guy, except looking like a Fox News anchor. And that was really
Yeah.
what it felt like people were offering as the solution. Oh, just turn into somebody else. And then I saw you and I was like, oh, that's it. There
What?
was
I don't look like
color.
a biker.
Oh, but there was color and glitter and unicorns and silliness, and my poor trampled on little soul said yes. So I signed up. We talked, and I talked to you. I remember being like, "Oh my God, wait! I'm talking to the person in the ad, not a salesperson who's gonna like wring my heart out for an hour and then tell me that she wants $25,000 or something."
Right.
Actual US dollars, not just, and I met you, and we talked about magic, which I thought would be off-putting, but again, there was a piece of my soul that really responded to, medicine woman magic and connecting with what's inside me, and it has always been there. And so then we started working together, and I was still very panicky, but slowly started to get back in touch with what was always there, and that never ending font of me-ness that feeds me and gets me out of bed every morning. It's like that little acorn. It doesn't know how it's going to turn into a mighty oak tree. It just knows it's gonna. And
Yes.
tapping into that energy of, I don't know how exactly I'm going to find a relationship. It's not do A, B, and C, wear this dress, wear red in your profile photos. Like, it's not that simple. And yet it is, of getting back in touch with yourself, which sounds so like woo woo and fluffy. And yet without that, you have nothing. So I think one of the biggest breakthroughs, though, was the lesson that you gave me about everybody is not your person.
Yes.
What do you mean? Everyone has to like me. No, that's not how this works. I am not everybody's cup of tea, nor is everybody else mine, because I felt like I was getting in that scarcity mindset and feeling so desperate and like, why am I not connecting with anybody? I must be too picky. That's what it is.
Yeah.
My mother's right. I can put up with anything, but I just went through this whole thing of not putting up with anything and establishing a boundary and ending my marriage and making choices about how I was going to live. And I fought hard for my freedom. I'm not going to waste it by putting myself back into a situation where I'm in a relationship that is not everything that I desire, and that doesn't open up my potential, and where someone isn't feeling all that about me as well. So
I love that
and
you said that. I think that's really important because, your journey going from, oh my God, what am I going to do to make me, this person like me,
fit.
to, wow, this is who I am, then is a complete shift in how you get to live your life. Because rather than reacting to every date you go on and think, okay, well, I guess I'm doing it wrong, so I need to do some other thing, which is something I did. I was just like, oh, well, I guess perky didn't work, so I guess I should try being mysterious or something. And then,
Or
then
bitchy.
eliminate yourself from the equation. So I really, watching you, I could really see how you stepped into not only you, but your power.
I've been really fortunate to have a few moments in my life that I could really hearken back to. It's like when you've been wearing cheap, junky clothes for a while, and then you put on that dress or that blazer, and you feel like, oh, that's what it's supposed to feel like. And then suddenly you throw out everything else in your closet that's a piece of junk, except for like maybe that one pair of shoes that you garden in. But that's me. So having that and being reminded to return to that when I'm in a dating space is super helpful. Just like I said, when you're trying to clean out your closet and you're like, I have all this stuff and I can't get rid of it, and then you put on that one jacket that makes you go, oh, and then everything else pales in comparison, and suddenly it's really easy to get rid of all that other junk. So that really helped me clear out a lot of that junky thinking, as
Yeah.
well as keep me calm and centered and focused and paying attention to my own reactions when I was on the apps. And, we did have some really great concrete discussions about ways to use the apps in my favor. But I think the most important thing for me was being able to step away from them and it took me a long time to have enough security within myself to be able to step back from the apps and not feel like I'm missing out, I'm missing out, I'm missing out.
Yeah.
No, you're not. You're taking time for yourself. Like, I got really into new moon and full moon kind of magic, or at least intention setting around. And yes, it's very woo woo, but it's fun. And it's a reminder. I have it written up here: slow down and go deep, because things are happening in the stillness, even when you don't think something is happening. I didn't message 5 people on an app today, it's a dating app. I'm never going to find my person if I don't, work at it. No, slow down, step back, and see who resonates with you. And if you open the app and you click on 3 or 4 profiles and nobody's resonating, close the app and go, I don't know, garden or something that makes you
Do
happy.
something else. Yeah. I think that's
So
so key.
did not think to do that before.
Yeah.
Why? Well, because I was really bound up in, I have to, my love relationship didn't work out and I was really still keenly wounded from it. And
Right.
now I'm able to be much more intentional about my connections. I mean, I'm still making mistakes and stuff. I'm still connecting with people who don't really thrill me sometimes, or the ones who thrill me and it doesn't work out and it hurts and it stinks. But
Yeah.
at least I'm able to take time away and renew myself. And I'm actually kind of in a moment where I'm not as interested or obsessed with dating as I was. So it's a lot easier for me to hold my boundaries and say, would I rather stay home and watch Sing 2 or go out on a date with this person? If the answer is Sing 2, that is really important information for me. And being able to
Yeah.
be more neutral about it too. It's not that I'm giving up on dating, it's that no, this particular person isn't exciting me enough. I'll come into a space, and I'm so happy to have been able to move further along in my healing journey too. Like all the work we did together uncovered and connected me to other sources of learning, because I've got a lot of stuff going on. It showed me, I mean, it sounds so depressing to say that I have baggage to unpack. It was more like there's new ways to grow, and there's my life is so full. And the word abundance, when I came out of my marriage and was starting to try to connect with people and imagining the life that I wanted to build, abundance was the number one word that came to me unbidden. And we talked a lot about abundance during our work together and finding ways to appreciate the abundance that's already present in my life and make even more. How can it get any better than this? I'm
Yeah.
finding ways to make it even better and durably better. It's not
Yeah.
something that's going to blow away or that anyone can take away from me. I'm growing it. So it's pretty fantastic. It's a different outcome than I expected. It would be really nice to just say, gosh darn it, and Prince Charming showed up like, the day after my first session with Macy. Didn't happen. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And
Yeah.
there will probably come a point in the future where I decide that, I'm ready to engage more actively with dating. And if he hasn't shown up at that point, we'll get together and have some more fun. But
Yeah.
right
Well, I
now, I'm
love
feeling
your
really good.
energy about it, because that's really the goal in a way. Like if there's any goal, I can't even believe I just said goal,
To
but
just be in the flow of
yeah.
it.
And just be with the end in mind is the energy of you being able to be you, relax and make those choices that nurture you is what your love relationship is all about. And if
Yes.
people are in that fear and urgency and the grasping thing that was
Doesn't
really
work.
freaking you out, it's so contracted and it's not matching what you want.
It's
And
like the
so,
lazy river, how
yeah,
like when you're in the lazy river, there's some people who are just like floating on the tube. And then there's other people who are madly paddling like along the edges and I was madly paddling and it was not working. And I was really stressed out and tired and sweaty. And then when I was able to finally just let go and get into the flow, it's working a lot better, a
yeah,
lot better. And
yeah,
people are coming to me. I am able to be more attractive and knowing that I have the power to choose as well. That was another big piece, a big rock boulder that we shifted out of the way. Was this is my choice. I get to choose. I get to choose if I go on a date or if I stay home and watch Sing 2, because I have options when I am able to see them. And when I got things out of my way so that I could see the choices I had, it was fantastic. It
yeah.
feels good to know I have choices.
I love it. I mean, you are the perfect example of the quote, how you love your life is your love life. You are, because that is it. Like how you love your life is your love life. And if you're not giving yourself the time to actually go, well, what would be fun for me and be the actual chooser in your life,
Yeah.
then you're going to feel like you're jerked around by every situation and stuck in fear and reaction. So I'm excited. I mean, I know because I feel people's future relationships. So I know that it's going to be really fun to hear more about that when your person shows up and you're there. And I'm just so happy that you could share your changes. I am curious because I know we did a lot of regenerating images and memory work together.
It was
Um,
fun.
do you
That was
want to share a little
cool.
bit about your experience with that?
I was surprised by it. I was really surprised at how quickly images came up and the feelings that were attached to them. And even sometimes when it was just colors, or even when I could tell that the way that I was feeling things and seeing things in my mind's eye was affected by, the passing of the sun or the clouds and through the window was affecting the light play on my eyelids and stuff. But it was it was really potent in surprising ways. It really took me out of my headspace and connected me to my heart and my body and that piece of us that we call soul that's kind of floating around, and that trusts endlessly in the
Yes.
power of the acorn to become the oak. So
Yes.
yeah, and it felt really good. After those sessions, I always felt really lighter and more centered. I think that's what yoga is supposed to feel like. I hate
Yeah.
yoga, so I don't know.
Yeah. This
Like,
is
hate it. But,
great. Good. You don't have to do it. You just do it. Yeah.
I get to
No,
choose.
I love that because it is a powerful trust thing, isn't it? Like getting you
Yeah.
back to who you are and knowing that you are creating your life and being able to sense that and really know that from a physical, sensory, deep knowing. And
And and
yeah,
it keeps you afloat when things are getting rough
yeah.
too. I mean, you helped me through the getting some perspective on some disappointments that happened while we were working together, and it
Mhm.
helped me appreciate that those were part of an old pattern too, where I
Mhm.
was not picking up on the fact that this person that I was trying to be with because I really wanted them to work out, they were showing me pretty clearly that they were not my person,
Right.
and I wasn't able to let go enough and say, yeah, I release you, until they had really had to get to a point where they were like, I'm ghosting you because you're clinging on so tightly, because you're not like picking up on the message that I'm laying down. But Reverend Lovelady helped a lot with that too. I got Chex Mix a couple of
Oh,
times.
that's it.
Yeah. I got the Chex Mix, I got the Nut Loaf, and I got
Oh,
when I remember there was one guy who was Chex Mix, like fun, light, snacky, but I wanted an enchilada, and I did not get an enchilada.
okay.
And that was an important contrast for me,
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Nut loaf. It's
as
delicious.
well as inspiration for that evening's dinner. I mean, how could you lose?
Right? I love it. Yes, she's talking about dead old lady readings. If you haven't had one, I go by Reverend Lunch Lady and we pick a vintage recipe, and the dead old ladies in the cafeteria of love speak to us and bring amazing
And they
wisdom.
have knowledge. They
Yeah,
have not, those ladies have seen stuff. They know.
exactly. They're dead. They know better. Yeah. Um, so okay, so if there are women out there who have been in a similar situation as you, maybe, really worried that they're going to like screw it up again or get it wrong again and have a lot of angst about what is possible or even how to do it, and are considering coaching, what would you tell them?
I would say come into it and work it, and be prepared to be surprised by where it takes you, because you just don't know what's in store until you try. I think also being willing to choose yourself in any situation is really important to be able to do. So learning how to
Yep.
do that is a permanent gift. And I know that's something that a lot of women have trouble doing in a dating situation, family situation, daily life. Like, should I floss my teeth or take out the garbage? Both are really hard some days. So
Yeah, right.
should I sit
Yeah,
home and watch Sing 2? It's,
right.
and there was one piece I was trying to remember at the beginning of what you said. The nuts. It's gone. It'll come back like the nut loaf. It'll always come back.
Yeah.
Choosing you and choosing different, being open to choosing. I think the illusion of not having choice
Yep.
and being open to just stop and really make a different choice. And you can't, figuring out where you have control and where you don't. Like, maybe if I just say it in a different way, then he'll want to date me. No, you're giving him information. I would like to date you. He or she can choose what to do with that information. It's not about the delivery. You're not doing it wrong. You can't do it wrong with the right person. That was the other
Yeah.
thing that stuck
That.
with me. Like,
Yeah.
that's why so many romance movies have so many like awkward flubs and things go completely sideways and they still end up together at the end, because that was your person and you kind of grow into each other too, I think, through some of those flubs. Whereas the wrong person, it doesn't matter. You could be, a supermodel, astronaut, mega millionaire investor, and if you were not the right person for them, they would still not be that happy to be with you. So that
Yeah.
was
I
a
do
big
think that's
lesson.
important. Yep. Yeah. Well, it's been such an honor to watch your journey. I love continuing that with you. And thanks for sharing your experience. And, if you're out there listening and you resonate with some of these things, then reach out and let's have a conversation on what you could do to create your life, your love life, but it's also your life because relationship is all there is. And when we've grown up in tricky environments and not had that example or even had a marriage that didn't work out, of course, there are things that we need to learn or even heal and transform so that we can truly bring ourselves to these relationships, which is what I totally see you doing now. And it's so exciting to know that, your person is going to be so excited to meet you and just see you for you because you're not trying to be anyone else. And it's really great. So
Nope.
thanks everyone for watching. And we'll talk to
Thanks,
you soon.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.